Campfire Classics is a classic literature podcast. However, your hosts will occasionally use not-so-classy language and immature humor to describe very mature situations. As such, listener discretion is advised. Hi, I'm Ken Sandberg.
And I'm Heather Michelle Lawler.
Welcome to Campfire Classics, where we try to read those books that look really good on your shelf.
I'm drinking whiskey. And if you're listening to this podcast, you know why. That's all. I have no song today.
Not every day has to be a song day.
I mean, I guess we could go with Climb Every Mountain. If you know what that's from, you know what I'm talking about.
I mean, it teaches a lesson of sorts.
Yeah. Be Captain Von Trapp. In a world of Maxes and Elsas and Rolfs, be Captain Von Trapp. That's all.
Nobody wants to be a Rolf anyway.
No.
Just strictly the name. Rolf?
Yeah, but that's not why he's an asshole.
No, but the only cool Rolf... I apologize if your name is...
He's a Muppet.
I apologize if your name is Rolf and you take offense to this. The only cool Rolf I can think of is a dog who plays piano.
Yeah, and he's so cool.
And he's super cool.
Rolf is fine. Just don't be that Rolf.
In a world of...
Don't be going on 17, 18, dancing in a gazebo with your fucking... what we are now calling, I guess, a Roman salute. So, yeah. Yep. Quote unquote. You can't see my quotey fingers.
Everyone could hear your quotey fingers.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Hi, everybody. We're recording. Ken got me down here. It's been a rough couple days. I hope everyone's taking care of themselves, whatever that means.
In our case, that looks like a lot of music, a lot of Gilmore Girls, and a decent amount of wine and bourbon.
I have definitely consumed 2 full bottles of wine in the past 24 hours. And I have no regrets. And I'm currently having some bourbon, as I said at the beginning. So thanks for the Woodford mom and dad. When they came out, they got us the Costco size. Coming very good and handy.
Coming good and handy.
Very good. I've had one whole sip, and we're done. We're just done.
Hey, listeners. So I've got a question for you. What do you do that is sort of not typical that is self-care? Like, what's your unusual self-care thing?
Well, Ken got to come with me on mine today, which I think I've talked about on the podcast before. I like thrifting, and we're doing a lot of DIY for our wedding. So we went thrifting.
We hit 6 hours worth of Goodwill.
I don't know if you noticed, I didn't look at my phone the whole time we were out.
No.
It keeps me off social media. It focuses my brain. It's something I love to do. I literally told Ken the other day, and if you're listening and know where I can get a job like this, if I could go thrifting for my job, like DIY weddings or something like that, I would be so happy. I don't get tired of it. I think it's fun. So if anyone has a thing that pays money to go shopping for people, like, I don't want to shop for rich people. I want to shop for people who like interesting, zero waste, cool shit. So if anyone knows a job that is that, I'd be really fucking good at it.
Something like Goodwill offering personal shopper services.
Right? It's like totally against their entire thing. I guess I could just get a job at Goodwill but no, I want to go to all, I like going to all the Goodwills. The ones today were kind of far apart. I hit, in the time we hit 3 today, I hit 7 the other day. So those were all 20 minutes apart. These were all 40 minutes apart. So
yeah, we're also learning through this whole process something that probably most of you already know, because most of the world is smarter than I am. But Goodwill apparently is divided into regions, and some of those regions have shitty prices and even shittier sales policies.
AKA the Philadelphia, New
Jersey is
horrible.
Prices are all super high.
It's and they only have 1 day of sales. You know how most Goodwills have tag sales. Like all week, they have like today was green at the ones we ended up going to. The one in Philadelphia, New Jersey, they only have sales on Sunday, and it's 2 tags, and one is $2 and one is $3. So sometimes it's not even a good deal. It's like I'm not going to buy a glass for $3, like a drinking glass. Like no, and that's the sale. Fuck off. Because like anyway, I'm ranting and raving, but see, I'm super passionate about this. So I realized last week if I just drive really far west or north of the city and I get out of Philadelphia proper, then I get into what's it called? Into
the main line.
The region.
Oh, Keystone.
It was the Keystone region, and they have the real Goodwill prices, and like even when it's not on sale, it's affordable. And then we went to another one. Before that, we were in like another region. We found another region, which was like the Delaware.
Delco, yeah.
Oh my God, it was so weird. And they had different rules. So all within 35 minutes of our house, basically, 45 minutes of our house, maybe, there's 3 different regions of Goodwills, and they all have different rules. But I'm willing to do that if people want to hire me as their DIY Goodwill person. That's all. That's my self-care. I've always, if you know me, anyone who actually knows me, you know me. A lot of people who listen know me. I mean, one of our favorite listeners who sends in some of our haunted stuff, I'll say her name, Lindsay. We went to high school together, and we used to go thrifting in high school. So this is nothing new, and it makes me happy. It brings me joy. So
gives you a passionate focus, which is part of self-care, right? Like
well, it's like coloring. It's like it's mindfulness. It focuses your brain on something so you can't drift away and like go to, doom scrolling. Though it is important to be aware of the news right now. Like that's the thing is self-care is important, but there's some shit going down and you need to be aware of it.
The trick
because
is finding
ignorance
the balance.
is not bliss. Ignorance is stupid.
The trick is finding the balance between informing yourself and then rehearsing the panic that revolves around that information.
Yeah.
Because once you've got the information, you need okay, cool. Now you know what's going on.
So now I look for like things to do about it.
Either look for something to do about it or
walk
go
away.
Watch some crappy TV.
Or walk on the treadmill for an hour and listen to and watch Wicked, which is what I did yesterday night. So anyway, musical theater and thrifting, that's my happy place. What's yours, Ken? You like to write music.
I like to write music.
Futz with the music.
I like to go downstairs into our music room and record music and play things and
write music.
And most of it is stuff that never sees the light of day because I don't have the courage to put it out there. But it is my happy place to just be doing that.
So everyone listening, email 5050artsproduction@gmail.com or message us on our website for campfireclassics.com and tell Ken to get some freaking shit together and put his amazing music and writing out there because, hello. I wish I could do that, but it brings you joy.
But it's the creative process is fun for me.
Yeah.
So I do that, and this is part of that creative process. This podcast that we do right here, right now.
Oh,
I enjoy
we
the
should
recording.
Probably stop ranting.
I enjoy the editing of it.
I enjoy the ranting because I could just have a fucking like blah podcast, but no one needs to listen. I mean, I could have like a political podcast or something like that probably, but that takes a lot more work. Whereas this one, we just get our stuff that's in public domain and read it sight unseen, and I'm telling everyone what's going on. So that's a good transition, right?
Yeah, you also just jumped in with the bit that I normally do. So I'm waiting to hear where you go from there.
Well, because I don't have the passion. No, that's not true. Because I don't have the brain span and width, and there's plenty of political podcasts, so I don't need to be out there. I think Rachel Maddow has a fucking podcast. I can't compete with that. But what I can do is read short stories with my boo here and make you laugh and make us laugh. And we take them out of the public domain so no one can sue us. And we love that.
Yeah. One of my favorite things to do on the weekend is not get sued.
Just on the weekend?
Well, I think of weekend because that's like leisure time, right? And one of my favorite ways to spend my leisure time is not getting sued.
Oh, I mean, I guess. I prefer not getting sued on like Monday and Tuesday. There's like
something cooler about like if it's a business day, not getting sued on a business day.
It's like even more impressive.
All right.
If the lawyers at their office are at their office and they're not getting sued, you're doing good.
Well, this episode drops on Wednesday, so let's see if we can avoid getting sued on a Wednesday.
I've been
this
okay
week.
for the past 2 days, though. I did send our shitty new vice president a pretty nasty message on Instagram because he automatically followed me or made me follow him. It was fucking nuts. So I sent him a nasty message. So I might get sued or arrested tomorrow.
I saw a few things about that. Some people
it
saying
happened to a lot of people. Yeah. That's why I'm saying pay attention, but take care of yourself.
I don't have any new friends.
Yeah. Well, be grateful for once in your life. Be grateful you have no new friends.
Once in my life, I can be grateful for my lack of friends.
Don't make new friends. Just keep the old. We don't want your golden showers, old man. Anyway, let's talk about.
So this is a comedy literature podcast where we cold read short stories and make fun of poop jokes. Sort of how it works. And this week, Heather's going to read a short story that neither of us have ever seen before.
Eventually, Ken will read again. I just have to do my work. And because the past 2 days I have been either shopping or walking on the treadmill.
Well, and again, I like this stuff.
Yeah,
I
you like doing
part,
this,
so I don't mind.
And he likes listening to me butcher French, so and all the other dialects.
To the best of my knowledge, there will be no French in this week's episode.
Yeah, you always say that.
I did not say that last week. I knew what was coming.
Duh.
Anyway, this week's fun facts. So this week's author goes by the pen name of CC MacApp.
Like CC Bloom? CC MacApp?
Yeah, I think it's
pimp?
I think it's actually MacApp.
Oh.
But it's spelled with a capital M and a capital A. It looks like MacApp, and it sounds like something you'd buy in the App Store.
Like from the Mac store.
Yeah.
It's MacApp.
Yeah, CC MacApp.
Ooh.
But
did you download the newest version of the CC MacApp? It's so hot. And not run by fascists.
I mean, statistically, it would be. Anyway, he was born Carol Mather Capps in November of 1917.
Oh, it's one of those Carol's a dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
That happens sometimes. They're.
I mean,
Carol,
Lewis.
Carrie.
Well, I guess Carol was his last name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, cool.
In 1917.
Yep.
And in addition to being a science fiction author, he was a chess champion.
Okay, Bobby Fischer.
Yeah, he was for a while president of the San Francisco Bay Area Chess League, and he won the Northern California and San Francisco Chess Championships several
Holy
times.
shit.
So apparently, he was super good at it.
Yeah, because California's a big state. It's not like winning in like Wyoming. There's like 5 people.
And anyone from Wyoming, yes, offense.
Yes, you can be offended, but you can't be offended because I'm just talking about your population, and your population versus California is, if you're going to win a chess tournament in a state, it's most impressive if it's like California, Texas, New York, one of those.
Wouldn't it be wild if like Wyoming happens to have the highest per capita number of chess grandmasters?
It's like Ohio has the most astronauts.
Wyoming has the most chess grandmasters.
Well, there's nothing else to do, so I guess they learn to play chess, right?
It's you either learn to play chess or you become a cowboy. That's
I want to know.
Or the Unabomber.
Well, go Wyoming.
Anyway, CC MacApp, chess champion, science fiction writer, probably not the Unabomber. And that's really the bulk of the information on him.
I love
There's
it.
not a ton of info on this guy. He wrote 8 novels.
Which means he was very unproblematic, which we love.
Love that. 8 novels, dozens of short stories. He was nominated for a Nebula Award in 1965, which is one of those science fiction writing awards.
Nebula.
Yeah.
That's a cool. I like
there's
that.
the Nebula Award and the Saturn Awards.
Oh, I like the Saturn Awards. I got the Moon of Saturn.
At Quizzo.
At Quizzo. when we were at Quizzo, speaking of Saturn, I was very proud of the fact that I've read Kurt Vonnegut because I'm super smart. In my 20s, I was so cool. And I read Sirens of Titan, and they asked, the question was, what moon is Titan, what planet is Titan the moon of? One of the moons of. And I was like, Saturn. I felt really, really cool. But then I said to the guy next to me, I'm like, it's Ray Bradbury. And he goes, it's Vonnegut. I was like, oh, shit. I was like, fuck. I knew it was Vonnegut, but I also love Ray Bradbury. Anyway,
I read it. I just forgot who wrote it.
It doesn't matter.
Like authors matter.
So tell us more about the author. Oh, wait, there's nothing more to tell. Okay.
I kind of told you everything. Except that he died relatively young in 1971.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Well, I hope the story is good. This is a new author, right?
To the best of my knowledge, This is a new author. I don't recognize the name.
Well,
yeah,
we love a new author, and let's see what we got here. So, clearly, it's one of those Pulp Fictions, which is how it's in public domain. Yeah.
It's
when you said he was born in 1917, I was like, okay, this is a Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, this is one of those.
Don't want to get sued. It's Wednesday tomorrow, and
it's called "And All the Earth a Grave," which was published in December of 1962. But yes, thanks to our favorite loophole, it is in public domain. Don't worry, I did all the research. It is actually in public domain.
No, I believe that. The title is a little close to home right now, but okay, let's go.
Let's start this fire.
Let's start it.
Hey, listeners. How's it going? Before we jump into this story, we just wanted to take a quick second to give a little heads up.
So I'm reading the story, and about halfway through the story, it does go to some places that might be uncomfortable for people, just some trigger warnings for some situations of unaliving and mortality. I will just put it there. If you're feeling uncomfortable, totally understand. We just want to put that out there. But it is a very good story. It just goes some places. We try and keep it light, but if that's something you don't want to deal with, we understand. But if not, enjoy the story. And All the Earth a Grave by C.C. MacApp. Illustrated by Gauguin. Gauguin.
Gauguin.
That sounds like a freaking monster from the Odyssey. The Gauguin.
Illustrated by the Gauguin.
The Gauguin. So we apparently have pictures. Oh, I love picture books. All right. There's nothing wrong with dying. It just hasn't ever had the proper sales pitch, is the tagline at the beginning of this story.
That makes me uncomfortable.
Maybe we're just going to get proof of an afterlife or another life or another universe that we go to.
The side life.
The side life.
Ah, the side life.
Indeed. It all began when the new bookkeeping machine of a large Midwestern coffin manufacturer slipped a cog or blew a transistor or something. Basically, a machine fucked up. In the Midwest, of all places.
Yeah.
It was fantastic that the error, one of two decimal places, should enjoy a straight run of okays, human and mechanical, clear down the line. But when the figures clacked out at the last clacking out station, there it was. The figures were now sacred, immutable. And it is doubtful whether the president... Oh, God. It is doubtful whether the president of the concern or the chairman of the board would have dared question them, even if either of the two gentlemen had been in town.
So the machine fucked up, and all the way down the row, people were like, yep, looks good. Yep, looks good. Yep, looks good. And the bosses weren't even in town to confirm it.
That's what this... So, y'all, AI's not good. And
AI needs oversight.
And so do machines. They were constructed by people, and guess what? People are fallible, so.
And so are machines.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen The Matrix. Do you know whose favorite movie is The Matrix?
I don't.
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Oh, of course it is. That doesn't surprise me at all.
He did a lengthy interview with Lawrence Fishburne in which he was like, The Matrix, my favorite movie.
Of course. I love that. Well, because, yeah, I mean, that makes total sense to me. He would believe in some other universe or he's smarter than all of us. He was on, like, Celebrity Jeopardy, and he lost, like, big, because a lot of it was, like, pop culture-y. So he was like, and then his one daily double, sorry to tangent here, his one daily double was, like, it was called Famous Threesomes. And I just watched it today. Famous Threesomes, and it was this guy, and this guy brought presents to the manger. So the answer was, who are the three wise men?
Sure.
And the top comment, which was amazing, was the fact that Neil deGrasse Tyson got a question about the Bible is the funniest part about this. Anyway, all right. Back to the story. As for the advertising manager, the last thing he wanted to do was question them. He carried them, they were the budget for the coming fiscal year, into his office, staggering a little on the way, and dropped dazedly into his chair. Apparently he's smoking weed or drunk. He's just kind of staggering around and dazed and,
Dazed and confused.
They showed the budget for his own department as exactly 100 times what he'd been expecting.
Whoa.
That is to say, 50 times what he'd put in for. When the initial shock began to wear off, his face assumed an expression of intense thought. In about 5 minutes, he leaped from his chair, dashed out of the office with a shouted syllable or two for his secretary, and got his car out of the parking lot. And I can see his secretary, like, even if this takes place in the future, she still looks like a 60s secretary.
So the pencil skirt.
Like the cute little, well, it's the 60s now, so it's a little more scandalous.
Gotcha.
And she's like cute and
got the fun
flip,
glasses.
Big glasses, a flip, and she's like, oh my God! It's like the Jetsons kind of thing. At home, he tossed clothes into a traveling bag and barged through the door, giving his wife a quick kiss and an equally quick explanation. He didn't bother to call the airport. He meant to be on the next plane east, and no nonsense about it. Uh-oh. All right, so that is a ... There is a line across the paper that means we are transitioning.
Kong kong.
Kong kong, yeah. With one thing and another, the economy hadn't been exactly in overdrive. This is fucking sci-fi. Always hits a little too close to home.
Yeah.
Eggs were fucking expensive today. I just want to point that out to everyone. Just saying. And when Russia and Ukraine are still fighting. Anyway, done with the politics.
Trouble in the Middle East.
Always.
Plus the West Coast is still on fire.
Yeah, but we pulled out of the Paris Climate Agreement, so we're fine.
Yeah, and it's going to be named the Gulf of
America.
Yeah.
Because it's important right now. Anyway, the economy hadn't been exactly in overdrive that year. The predictions for the Christmas season were gloomy. Early retail figures bore them out. Gift buying dribbled along feebly until Thanksgiving, despite brave speeches by the administration. Oh, God.
This does hurt a little bit.
This is hurting. The holiday passed more in self-pity than in thankfulness among owners of gift-oriented businesses. Then on Friday following Thanksgiving, the coffin ads struck. Wait, on Black Friday? It wasn't even called Black Friday back then. I don't think it's been... When did it become Black Friday? Friday after Thanksgiving. This is the Friday following Thanksgiving.
Yes. I don't know when it got the name Black Friday officially, but it's long been like
a sales day?
We know. So you know why it's called Black Friday, right?
No.
It's because for a lot of businesses, because it's always been a huge Christmas shopping day.
Really?
For a lot of businesses.
My family said when they were young, my parents said when they were young, no one did anything on that Friday. Because this was before the internet, you had to go out.
Right, but businesses started doing huge sales because Black Friday in the ledger, it's the sales day that puts the business into the black.
Oh. Okay. I just thought it was a comment on capitalism and how it sucks.
No. In this case, Black Friday is actually a good thing. Because it's the day that...
Well, technically, it's a good thing if people shop at small businesses and actually support things that aren't just massive corporations.
Well, yes, the term comes from, the idea
because they used to be a lot of mom and pop shops, so that makes sense. Yeah, when did it actually become a thing?
Oh, many events have been described as Black Friday.
Well, yeah, I'm sure they have.
In 1961, the city and merchants of Philadelphia attempted to improve conditions, public relations expert, blah, 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 called it Big Friday and Big Saturday.
And this was written in 61?
63.
Okay.
But it wasn't until the 70s that the term Black Friday started.
Okay. I just love when I see like stories that are older reference something that is so prominent in our current society. I'm just like, oh.
The earliest known explanation of the term Black Friday comes from the Philadelphia Inquirer in November of 1981.
Hey. All right. Well, we are where the news is happening here.
Always.
Coming right at ya. Fun facts and history. Let's go.
Anyway,
back to the coffin ads. All right, so on Black Friday, then just Friday following Thanksgiving, Black Friday does have a better ring. On the Friday following Thanksgiving...
Black Friday,
the coffin ads struck. Yeah, that's creepy. I mean, if that isn't creepy enough, but yeah. Struck may be too mild a word. Oh, shit. People on the streets saw feverishly working crews at holiday rates slapping up posters on billboards. The first poster was a dilly. A dilly?
Oh, hey, that's a dilly.
That's a dilly up there on them poster board. A toothy and toothsome young woman leaned over a coffin she'd been unwrapping. She smiled as if she'd just received overtures of matrimony from an 80-year-old billionaire. Oh, shit.
She looked happy as if a rich dude were about to marry her and then die.
Yeah, or she looks like a woman who married a rich guy and he died a year later, or not even so. Oh, I can think of a couple people around. Never mind. A couple 80-year-old billionaires that I'd like to buy coffins for. There was a Christmas tree in the backyard, and the coffin was
Even if you had to marry him first?
You know what? I would do that for our country.
I'd take a bullet for that team.
Fuck yeah. I've watched Game of Thrones. I know what poisons people. I know what can't be traced. I'm into this shit.
I've
also watched Handmaid's Tale. I know what she uses in that. I am aware. I will be that for everybody. I can do that. Anyway. There was a Christmas tree in the background, and the coffin was appropriately wrapped. So was she. She looked as if she'd just gotten out of bed or ready to get into it. For amorous young men, some not so young, the message was plain. The motto, the gift that will last more than a lifetime, seemed hardly to the point.
Jesus.
Damn.
So they put this woman in skimpy clothes and got her unwrapping a coffin.
You know what? Now all I can see...
Sex even sells death.
Well, they just... The tagline at the beginning, they just never gave it the proper... I mean, I'm thinking of that Paris Hilton... Was it Paris Hilton? The ad with Carl's Jr. burger, where she's like...
Jesus.
That was like... the early 2000s.
I know the edge. I don't remember who was in it.
Yep, and everyone remembers it. And she's rolling around on a car, getting sprayed with a hose and eating a burger. And everyone's like, "Oh yeah, I want a greasy burger."
Yeah, give me that Hardee's.
give me that Arby's or whatever, Hardee's or whatever it was. I think
it's Carl's
Jr.,
which is the same as Hardee's. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, all right. This is great. Those at home were assailed on TV with a variety of bright and clever skits of the same import. Some of them hinted that if the young lady's gratitude were really
precipitous,
wet, if she was really wet. God damn it.
No,
I just said the Paris Hilton thing. Precipitous. It's
precipitous like precipitation.
Yeah.
Like if she was really raining down gratitude.
So wet. We're staying in it. I already mentioned Paris Hilton getting wet with a burger. Now we're getting wet with a coffin. This is some foreshadowing again.
Super gothy. Death just makes me wet.
She's definitely got like a choker with spikes on it in my vision. And yeah, anyway. She's like a Hot Topic model. If the lady's gratitude were really precipitous and the bedroom too far away, the coffin might be comfy.
Holy shit.
So she is a goth girl. So she's a fucking vampire girl. Okay,
well, cool. And it really, nope, that's it. Yep. Exactly.
Yep.
Hey, baby, this gift is great. Let me show you my gratitude. No, the bed's too far away.
Let's do it in the coffin. Oh, God. And she's going to fuck him to death, and then he can stay there. It is a sugar daddy's dream come true, I guess. Or worst nightmare, I guess. I don't know.
It feels like a modern Poe story.
Of course, the more settled elements of the population were not neglected. For the older married man, there was a blow directly between the eyes. Oh, glad they didn't get it in the eyes. Do you want your widow to be half safe? And for the spinster without immediate hopes, I dreamt I was caught dead without my virgin form casket. Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm just waiting to see why this is tied to the first part of the story.
Because all of a sudden the marketing guy
had a bunch of money.
So what does he do? He slaps together an advertising campaign for coffins.
Yeah, but he should discuss this with people. This is like in Slings and Arrows when they're like the ad campaign that all the old people are dying.
Maybe he works for Froghammer.
He probably definitely works for Froghammer. All right.
Froghammer marketing.
If you're listening and you don't know Slings and Arrows, it is available on Amazon. Go watch it. Anyway. Newspapers, magazines, and every other medium added to the assault, never letting it cool. It was the most horrendous campaign for sheer concentration that had ever battered at the public mind. The public reeled, blinked, shook its head to clear it, gawked, and rushed out to buy.
Yeah.
We got
coffin fever.
The subliminal messaging worked. Christmas was not going to be a failure after all. Department store managers who had grudgingly and under strong sales pressure made space for a single coffin somewhere in the rear of the store now rushed to the telephones like touts with a direct pronouncement from a horse. Everyone... This is like... I think they sell coffins at Costco.
They do.
And Sam's Club.
You can get a real good bargain on coffins.
I mean, and
Costco.
That's what this is. Because it used to be these giant department stores in the 60s and 70s that were still very huge. Mm-hmm. So these giant department stores had a coffin section.
The only thing that kind of fucks me up about that is if you buy them at Costco, do you have to buy 12? Can you only get coffins
in bulk?
in 12 packs?
I wonder if they sell headstones, too. Can you, get them for the whole family? Lord in heaven. Seriously. Everybody who possibly could got into the act. Grocery supermarkets put in casket departments. The Association of Pharmaceutical Retailers, who felt they had some claim to priority, tried to get court injunctions to keep caskets out of service stations. But they were unsuccessful because the judges were all out buying caskets. Beauty parlors showed real ingenuity in merchandising. Roads and streets clogged with delivery trucks, rented trailers, and whatever else could haul a coffin. The stock market went completely mad. Strikes were declared and settled within hours. Congress was called into session early. The president got authority to ration lumber and other materials suddenly in short supply. State laws were passed against cremation under the heavy lobby pressure. A new racket called boxjacking blossomed overnight. Boxjacking sounds like a really naughty word for finger banging.
That's definitely a category on Pornhub.
Yeah, don't Google boxjacking, listeners.
Or
go to your what's the
safe
secret
search.
Safe search, yeah.
Or not safe search. What is it? Incognito mode.
Incognito mode.
Safe search is the one that blocks all the dirty stuff. So if you search boxjacking, it'll only be PG. But incognito mode is the one that's like, we're not going to save this to your history.
I feel like that's a really hot lesbian porn right there. Boxjacking.
Welcome to boxjacking.com.
Boxjacking at the sorority house. Jesus Christ. The advertising manager who had put the thing over had been fighting with all the formidable weapons of his breed to make his plant managers build up a stockpile. They had, but it went like a toupee in a wind tunnel. That is a great line. They had, but it went like a toupee in a wind tunnel.
I like it.
Competitive coffin manufacturers were caught napping, but by Wednesday after Thanksgiving, they, along with the original one, were on a 24-hour, 7-day basis. So 24/7. Still, only a fraction of the demand could be met. Jet passenger planes were stripped of their seats, supplied with Yankee gold, and sent to plunder the world of its coffins. Here comes America. We want your coffins. Jeez. That sounds about right. I mean, if this was the story tomorrow in the newspaper, I'd be like,
yeah,
that makes sense. Makes sense to me. Makes more sense than a lot of shit going on.
Dear listeners, boxjacking.com is not a website at the moment. So
you just
I hope
said it online. You can't say it online.
You
or
can
have to
say
buy
it online. No, you don't. No, that's not how that works.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Because
you don't have to buy it.
That's like the thing on like the Daily Show and stuff. If they say a website, they have to.
Well, no. If they say a website,
then is a thing. If they're like, go to manateefucks.com or something, which they have said. I know is it manatee humps or something?
No, what they're saying is now that because on shows that have large followings.
Yes.
If you say the thing, if you don't go buy it, someone else will because it's suddenly going to get a ton of traffic.
Yes.
I don't think that our listener base, no matter how large it may be, is going to be enough to dramatically increase the demand on the website boxjacking.com.
If someone wants to make boxjacking.com a fan site for Campfire Classics podcast, I'm fine with that. Bring it on.
Hello and welcome to CampfireClassics.com.
Sponsored by
subsidiary of Boxjacking.com.
It does kind of. What was that? What was the game we played a lot during the pandemic?
Jackbox.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
All right. So they can't keep up with the demand, so the Americans are gonna go, colonialize.
Gonna go steal them.
Gonna go take over other people's countries because that's what we're good at. It might be supposed that Christmas goods, other than caskets, would take a bad dumping. Hate when you get a bad dumping.
Yeah.
That was not so. Such was the upsurge of prosperity, and such was the shortage of coffins, that nearly everything, with a few exceptions, enjoyed the biggest season on record. On Christmas Eve, the frenzy slumped to a crawl, though on Christmas morning, there were still optimists out prowling the empty stores. The nation sat down to breathe. Mostly, it sat on coffins, because there wasn't space in the living rooms for any other furniture. There was hardly an individual in the United States who didn't have, in case of sudden sharp pains in the chest, several boxes to choose from.
Good.
That's ironic considering the episode of Gilmore Girls we watched.
Oh, yeah.
As for the rest of the world, it had better not die just now, or it would be literally a case of dust to dust.
No coffin for you, no coffin for you.
My God. Of course, everyone expected a doozy of a slump after Christmas, but our advertising manager, who by now was, of course, sales manager and first vice president also.
Well, sure, if you manage to make an uncharacteristic boom in coffin sales.
Well, and the economy in general. I mean, he was now the vice president, also wasn't settling for any boom and bust. He's been a frustrated victim of his choice of industries for so many years that now, with his teeth in something, he was going to give it the old bite. He gave people a short breathing spell to arrange their coffin payments and move the presents out of the front rooms. Then, late in January, his new campaign came down like 100 megatonner.
Jesus.
Within a week, everyone saw quite clearly that his Christmas models were now obsolete. The coffin became the new status symbol.
Lord.
What the fuck?
This is, not gonna lie, thus far, and I'm sort of seeing where it's going, an incredible and scathing indictment of capitalism.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. I mean, from the first couple paragraphs, it was like, yep. The auto industry was, of course, demolished.
Woo!
Even people who had enough money to buy a new car weren't going to trade in the old one and let the new one stand out in the rain. The garages were full of coffins. Petroleum went along with the autos.
Woo!
Though there were those who whispered knowingly that the same people merely moved over into a new industry. It was noticeable that the center of it became Detroit.
Detroit goes from Motor City to Coffin City. Ouch.
A few trucks and buses were still being built, but that was all.
What do you think Co-Town music would sound like? Because Motown, Motor City, Co-Town, Coffin City.
Well, it probably would have come in handy during COVID. Co-Town? I'm just saying. Some of the new caskets were true works of art. Others, well, there was variety. Compact models appeared in which the occupant's feet were to be doubled up alongside his ears. Oh, I hate that. Oh, ew.
I mean, in fairness, you'll be dead.
I know, but they bent him in half. That's gross. That means they had to, break ribs and I
don't know how bendy you get when you're dead.
You're going to rigor mortis.
For a while. It doesn't last forever.
Yeah, and then they bury you before you start to rot. Ideally. Anyway. Ugh, I just hate, ew. I can't even think about that one. I don't like that one at all. One manufacturer pushed a circular model, claiming that by all the laws of nature, the fetal position was the only right one.
That seems right.
I mean, you come into the world in the fetal position.
You go out in fetal.
Well, actually, that's not... This is actually pretty good because if you do the thing where you can be like a tree pod, where you your body will decompose and grow into a tree, they literally put you in a fetal position. That's like the visuals of that ad is this. It's
great.
like,
so they curl you up in a fetal position, stick an acorn in your belly, and then drop you into the ground.
They put some seeds there, yes. Yep. Where were we? Fetal position. Okay. At the other extreme were virtual houses, ornate and lavishly equipped. Possibly the largest of all was the togetherness model. Oh, God. Triangular with gradated recesses for father, mother, 8 children, plus 2 playmates. Ew! And in the far corner beyond the baby, the cat.
What the fuck?
So that means they have to go in and open the coffin when people die.
Yeah,
and, it's add them.
It's basically just a mausoleum. It's
a
family
crypt.
plot.
It's a crypt, but if it's all one coffin, ew. At least they brought the cat. I mean, it's very Egyptian of them. It's good.
Yeah, so long as the cat gets to die of natural causes and they don't do the Pharaoh thing where it's like, well, Dad died, so now you're all joining him.
You're coming with me, meow meow. The slump was over. Still, economists swore that the new boom couldn't last either. They reckoned without the advertising manager, whose eyes gleamed brighter all the time. People already had coffins, which they polished and kept on display, sometimes in the new coffin ports being added to houses. The advertising manager's reasoning was direct and to the point. He must get people to use the coffins, and now he had all the money to work with that he could use. Oh no. He's gonna start killing people. The new note was woven in so gradually that it is not easy to put a finger on any one ad and say, it began here. One of the first was surely the widely printed one showing a tattooed, smiling young man with his chin thrust out manfully, lying in a coffin. He was rugged-looking and likable, not too rugged for the spindly-limbed to identify with, and he oozed, even though obviously dead, virility at every pore. He was probably the finest-looking corpse since Richard the Lionhearted.
What?
Yeah, he's basically going to convince people to kill themselves or die.
This is bonkers.
I mean, this is a comment on capitalism propaganda.
Yeah,
this is fucking timely. I cannot.
It's great. This is bananas, though.
Oh, I'm always so amazed by these science fiction stories from the,
these
whenever
60s sci-fi writers.
This is it makes me uncomfortable how, the one that predicted Wi-Fi and the one that, they all are so on it. It's just, all right, here we go. Neither must one overlook the singing commercials. Oh no, they have jingles. Possibly the catchiest of these, a really cute little thing, was achieved by jazzing up the funeral march. It started gradually, and it was all so unviolent that few saw it as suicide. Yep.
Holy shit.
I knew it. I knew this was coming. I was like, this is what it has to, because you have supply and demand. And if there's no demand, the supply, you can't. So if you're going to keep pumping out these coffins, you got to have people die faster. Yep.
This is so, dear listener, this is about to get
dark. It's about to get dark. So if you have I don't love the word trigger warning, but if you have aversion to unaliving and things like that, please just be aware.
There's some.
I just glanced forward, and
there's some gnarly stuff coming up.
It's not going to be cute. Think of Heaven's Gate kind of stuff is coming up. Okay. Teenagers began having popping off parties. Some of their elders protested a little, but adults were taking it up too. The tired, the unappreciated, the ill, and the heavy-laden lay down in growing numbers and expired. Ironic that we were talking about Black Friday. A black market in poisons operated... Just said this earlier.
Yep.
A black market in poisons operated for a little while, but soon pinched out some of the pressure of persuasion that few needed artificial aids. The boxes were very comfortable. People just closed their eyes and exited smiling. The beatniks, who had made their own...
Fucking beatniks.
Fucking hippies. Hippies made their own coffins. Sorry, I'm trying to make this light. This is going gross. The beatniks who had made their own The beatniks, who had made their own models of coffin, moldy, scroungy, and without lids, since the beatniks insisted on being seen, placed their boxes on the Grant Avenue in San Francisco. They died with highly intellectual expressions and eventually were washed by the gentle rain.
Douchey beatnik.
Of course, there were voices shouting calamity. When aren't there? But in the long run, and not a very long one at that, they availed not. And now we have a dun-dun again.
Kong.
It isn't hard to imagine the reactions of the rest of the world, so let us imagine a few. This is hard right now because I've had like multiple conversations with my friends from around the world in the past 2 days on like Messenger.
Who have feelings about what's going on in America?
Well, literally most of them have said you can stay with us if you need to. But they're laughing at us. So I'm assuming that's what we're about to hear is they're laughing at you. The communist bloc immediately gave its stamp of disapproval, denouncing the movement as a filthy capitalist imperialist pig plot. I would like to make that the official name of this cabinet that we just instated, by the way.
Capitalist imperialist pig plot.
Yep. Add fascism in there, and we're good. Red China, which had been squabbling with Russia for some time about a matter of method, screamed for immediate war. Russia exposed this as a patent stupidity, saying that if the capitalists wanted to die, warring upon them will only help them. China surreptitiously tried out the thing as an answer to excess population and found it good. Ooh. It also appealed to the well-known melancholy facet of Russian nature. You know what? I can't argue with that. That's just good writing. Besides, after pondering for several days, the Red Bloc decided it could not afford to fall behind in anything, so it started its own program, explaining with much logic how it differed.
Good.
So they got sucked into it.
Lord.
They got sucked into it. An elderly British philosopher endorsed the movement on the grounds that a temporary setback in evolution was preferable to facing up to anything. That was not me doing anything. My jaw literally, I think, just hit the fucking ground. This is dark. And it is, again, far too, anyway. The Free Bloc, the Red Bloc, the Neutral Bloc, and such scraps as have been too obtuse to find themselves a bloc were drawn into the whirlpool in an amazingly short time. Y'all, this is how fascism spreads. Again, take care of yourself, but pay attention to the news. In less than 2 years, the world was rid of most of what had been bedeviling it.
Also rid of most of people.
Well, yes, which is what bedevils it is people that care about what other people think, which is the people that are killing themselves. Oddly enough, the country where the movement began was the last to succumb completely. Or perhaps it is not so odd. Coffin maker to the world, the American casket industry had by now almost completely automated box making and grave digging, with some interesting assembly lines and packaging arrangements. There still remained the jobs of management and distribution. The president of General Mortuary, an ebullient fellow affectionately called Sarcophagus Sam,
Jesus,
put it well. As long as I have a single prospective customer and a single stockholder, he said, mangling a stogie and beetling his brows at the one reporter who showed up for the press conference. I'll try to put him in a coffin so I can pay him a dividend.
Good Lord. Kung Kung.
Holy shit. Finally, though, a man who thought he must be the last living human wandered contentedly about the city of Denver, looking for the coffin he liked best. He settled at last upon a rich mahogany number with platinum trimmings, an automatic self-adjusting cadaver contour, interspring, weavery plastic-covered mattress with a built-in bar. I mean, these are basically now like tombs for the Egyptians. I mean, It really is. It's like these like homes that you think you're going to like live your next life in. He climbed in, drew himself a generous slug of fine scotch. Cheers, motherfucker. Giggled as the mattress prodded him exploringly.
Whoa.
Wow. So there's a sex robot in these coffins.
Coffins are getting frisky.
Closed his eyes and sighed in solid comfort. Soft music played as the lid closed itself. From a building nearby, a turkey buzzard swooped down, cawing a raucous anger because it had let its attention wander for a moment. It was too late. It clawed, screaming at the solid cover, hissed in frustration, and finally gave up. It flapped into the air again, still grumbling. It was tired of living on dead small rodents and coyotes. It thought it would take a swing over to Los Angeles, where the pickings were pretty good. As it moved westward over parched hills, it espied two black dots a few miles to its left. It circled over for a closer look, then grunted and went on its way. It had seen them before. The old prospector and his burro had been in the mountains for so long, the buzzard had concluded they didn't know how to die. Because he didn't pay attention to the news.
He didn't get sucked in.
He was off grid, man. Oh my God, this is blowing my fucking mind. I don't know if it's in a good way or a bad way. I'm really trying to be funny, y'all. I really
Sometimes we let the literature take over the comedy.
Okay. I'm going to finish it. We're almost there. The prospector, whose name was Adams, trudged behind his burro toward the buildings that shimmered in the heat, humming to himself now and then or addressing some remark to the beast. When he reached the outskirts of Denver, he realized something was amiss. He stood and gazed at the quiet scene. Nothing moved except some skinny pack rats and a few sparrows foraging for grain among the unburied coffins. "Tarnation," he said to the burro. "Martians?" A half-buried piece of newspaper fluttered in the breeze. He walked forward slowly and picked it up. It told him enough so that he understood. "They're gone, Evie," he said to the burro. "All gone." He put his arm affectionately around her neck. "I reckon it's up to me and you again. We gotta start all over." Wait, is he gonna fuck this donkey?
We gotta restart the human race, Evie.
Oh, God damn it. Oh, no. I don't like that at all. We're really close to the end. I don't like to break up the last paragraph, but,
What the fuck?
All right. Maybe his wife is at home. I'm hoping his wife is at home. Or his partner or whatever.
Or he thinks the donkey is his wife.
I don't know. We gotta start all over. He stood back and gazed at her with mild reproach. "I sure hope they don't favor your side of the house so much this time." The end. I don't understand. God.
Does he think he's been abducted by Martians before and that's what happened now?
I don't know how the fuck that ended, but there's one man left on Earth with his donkey, and that's good.
And they're going to have to start all over again.
I'm still going to say I hope his wife's at home or his, like, family. Like, he's a prospector who has, like, gone into Denver to get some supplies and left his family at home. And therefore, we got an Adam and Eve situation at least.
Well, he calls it her. His name is Adams. Her name is Evie.
Ew! Ew! This is how the centaurs take over. We have the answer. You know what? Cool. I don't go fucking care. If that's how the human species goes out, then we deserve centaurs. Holy fuck.
I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, that was
it was a really good story.
It was well written. It was
really well written. CC MacApp living the life, man.
That was some good stuff.
Oh my god.
Oh, and that picture by Gauguin
was great. It was like this really freaky, like ethereal woman, like
walking through a cemetery.
Like, what's the word? Prancing through a cemetery. It was probably one of the ads. It's probably like one of the ads. Yeah, I have nothing else to say. That one, like,
help us out, campers.
That one made me not feel great.
Help us out with your feelings and interpretations, not just about that story, although obviously that, but specifically that ending.
The ending.
That was wild.
That is the only translation of burrow, isn't it? Is a donkey? I mean, that's what I was envisioning, but now I want to look it up because I'm like, A
small donkey used as a pack animal.
Fuck. Yeah, I'm hoping. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, they say the Welsh love their sheep, so maybe the prospector loves his burrow.
Listen, Earth. I think Earth would do well in the hands of the centaurs.
Oh fuck yeah! I mean, in every fantasy movie I've ever seen, the centaurs are quite intelligent.
They're intelligent
and they move
care
fast.
For the Earth.
They give They love nature.
All right.
Okay.
So, what did you think of that one, listener?
Woo! That was a ride. I was not prepared. It was really good. It was fun to read. It was written very well.
It was.
Like, it read the way my mouth works. I don't know, like, if that makes sense. I've talked about that before, but
sometimes stories do, sometimes they don't.
Yeah, it's just, that's. I guess I will end the story with kind of what I've said throughout, but take care of yourself, but pay attention.
Yeah.
And pay attention and then take care of yourself. That's all.
Yeah.
That was a very apropos story for.
Yeah, I don't think I'm ready to do much post-morteming.
No, I'm going to make tacos. We're going to go upstairs and make tacos.
Let's go have tacos.
Yeah, let's go eat tacos.
Write in. Let us know what you thought of that story, of that episode. If you have specific feelings about the beginning, middle, or end, how do you feel about things? And let us know what you do for self-care. Mm-hmm. You can send those messages to any of our social media by looking for Campfire Classics Podcast. You know, if you're still on any of the social media, I know that's a whole fucking minefield right now, too.
Yeah, our Twitter doesn't exist anymore, by the way. I don't think I ever actually told people that. It's gone, so.
Or just email us at 5050artsproduction@gmail.com. That's 5050artsproduction@gmail.com. Or if you happen to have direct contact information for either of your hosts, you can message us there. Yeah. When you send that message, go ahead and use this week's secret passphrase, which is boxjacking.
It has to be boxjacking. Yeah.
That's all. You got anything else?
That's all I got.
Hey, listeners, come back next week.
Yeah.
We will see you next week.
We'll see you next week, and take care of yourself.
Pay attention. Take care of yourself.
Pay attention, but take care of yourself.
And until then, this has been Campfire Classics, where we try to read those books that look really good on your shelf.
Nope. Don't have anything.